Yes, and then I'll have to hit participants and then your name. Oh, it is. You didn't have to get my authorization. Sometimes you do. Okay, we're all ready to roll.
Well, hello. This is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And my guest today is, for my money, one of the best frontmen in progressive rock. He's best known as the singer for Hall of Fame guitarist Steve Hackett, but he also has a thriving solo career. He's about to release his latest solo record, Spiritus Mundi, on April 9th. It's a unique collection of the works of poet William Butler Yeats set to music. Please welcome Nad Sylvan. Welcome, Nad.
Thank you very, very much. Can I do just a tiny little correction?
Sure.
My name is pronounced Sylvan.
I was going to ask, but yeah.
You know what? If you think about how you spell Susan, so S-U-S-A-N, it's the same kind of theory. If it would be Sylvan, it would be spelled like Suzanne. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of a deal. But now you know it's Sylvan.
Got it. So let's jump right into this record. With your last record, you completed your trilogy of tales about the vampire. What led you to consider the works of Yates for your next project?
There is a small hint on the Regal Bastard album. If you take a close look at the very last track, which is a bonus track called The Lake Isle of Innisfree.
Yep.
Lyrics by William Butler Yeats. That was Andrew Lakers who contacted me and asked me if I would be interested to track my voice on a solo record of his. And so I did, and I heard the final result, and I was really impressed with what I heard, the mixing, the production, everything. And I thought, well, I had one track for a bonus track on the album, but I thought I could have another one more. So I asked him if he would be okay with me using this track as a bonus track. And yes, he was very keen to do that. So it ended up there. After I've done the trilogy, I thought, okay, what do I do now? And I just thought of Andrew, and I thought of, why don't we set a whole album to music with Yeats poems? But because I usually continue where I left off on on previous records. I just continue wherever the last track will always give you a small hint what's going to happen next.
Well, keep that in mind going forward.
Yeah, it's like giving away a little hint. And so I did that. And I'm just so pleased with what happened with Spiritus Mundi. It was an effortless collaboration of love and respect for the poems of Yeats. And I could feel the words, and that's why I think my singing probably is stronger now than it was before. It's just something that's starting to click. The words were very, very easy to sing and get my emotions behind them.
And the title, Spiritus Mundi, it's from the poem that makes up the first track on your record, Second Coming. And it literally means a world spirit. And Yeats saw that term as kind of the muse that provides inspiration to the creative, especially writers. As the first track on your record, do you think that sort of sets the tone for the spirit of the project? Yeah,
I think it does, because good question. The thing is, we set out to make a record that would have a different kind of tone than my previous ones, because I wanted to feature my voice more so than ever before, and I also wanted to feature Andrew's guitar playing. So I went for a more scaled down production. I mean, it's very lush at times. It is, but I didn't want to go all prog. But I thought that at least a couple of these tracks would very easily, fit into any prog album, because usually there will be a song that is a bit mellow or, more acoustic, scaled down. So I just thought, why not just make a full album with more full me's? You have to be to understand that one.
And Was there any particular works of Yeats that you wanted to use but just couldn't find an arrangement that fit the words?
No, what happened was that Andrew was the instigator of all this. He had done tons of demos of Yeats poems, and I cherry-picked the ones that I thought would really work my voice. So all the seeds of every song are they're Andrew's. And then he sent me very rough sketches. It was just in strumming guitar and him singing. And I would structure the song, I would arrange the songs, and I would arrange them, and I would elaborate on them and paraphrase some of the melodies that I thought might come out a bit more Nadish. You know?
And, as the person that is interpreting these words for the music, to me, I think the opening line in Dancing with the Moonlit Night, can you tell me where my country lies?
Yes.
There's a parallel with the opening of Sailing to Byzantium, There is no country for old men. Were you able to find other parallels that brought these lyrics closer for you?
Are you talking about, you're not referring to any of the Genesis tracks now, are you?
Well, of anything, I mean, those were two lines that really struck me, but, did you find anything else in these poems that really allowed you to get deeper into the meaning of the lyric?
Not really. I just put my heart behind all the lyrics, and I thought this was going to work. You have to understand that my vocal bits, my singing, I pretty much set the tone with the Second Coming, how I wanted to sing. I just felt it should be sung this way. And so that was the first song we recorded for this album. Though it didn't have that intro, it was just the strumming of guitar, and we started singing, turning and turning, widening jar. And then we added the intro a little bit later. We thought we should have a nice intro, and so I actually asked for permission. I even have to pay the license for using Yates' voice in the very, very beginning of the track. But I thought, and he's quoting the Lake Isle of Innisfree. It's his voice reading a bit of Lake Isle of Innisfree. That was the song that we ended the previous album. Right. So now you know what I'm getting now. It's like, oh, so now it's Yates doing it. Okay. And then I continue with speaking, quoting some of the words from the Second Coming before the song actually kicks in.
Interesting. And you've mentioned Andrew a few times, Andrew Letras. How did that relationship come together? I mean, I know there was the bonus track with Lake of Innisfree, but how did you two first meet and hook up?
Well, he lives in Vermont, so he came to see, I think, 1 or 2 shows with Steve Hackett Revisited. Definitely in Richfield, Connecticut, because that's where we last met. But I think he saw some
neck of the woods.
Yeah, and I think he saw some Allentown as well. That's where we last met. So we met 3 times, but anyway, that was how he first, when he spotted me and thought, I think it would have been nice to have Nad singing one of my tracks. And so he emailed me, and then I think it was not long after that we were going to do shows in the States, and I can't really remember now because all the terms, because it's a little bit of a blur when you tour so much that I have. But anyway, we sort of hit it off with that song, and we started keep in contact, and so our friendship really grew once we started to working with this album. Very, very, steady in contact with him. And he's so happy over this because I really felt for him because he was it's like just 2-3 years younger than me. I think he's born in 1961. And when I noticed how clever he was, how skilled he was, I just felt that, and he was in the same position as I'd always been. You know, I've been struggling for about 40 years before Hackett called me.
Yeah.
I was, you know, a very obscure artist from this country. So I felt actually I wanted to help him, because I thought this guy deserves a break. So that's what really happened. I mean, because he was so good, you know, he needed that break. And so our collaboration was absolutely labor of love from the word go.
And do you see this as kind of a one-off project, or do you see, you know, for one thing, collaborating with Andrew again, or digging either deeper into Yates, or taking this concept to other poets as well?
I've been thinking about using other poets' lyrics, but, you know, I'm a lyricist myself. Right. And it's nice to get inspired by these famous poets, no doubt. I'm very picky with my own lyrics. Sometimes they work better than other times, but I do see this as a one-off album in a way. Not that I'm dying to go back to regular prog rock. I feel that I've always moved on past every album. I don't repeat the same formula, which I don't intend to do with the next album either. You know, I might take some influences from Spiritus Mundi, with, you know, maybe some more acoustic guitar playing. And you never know if Andrew and I will do some more work. I think, you know, usually it's like this. I mean, today Anders Wahlbeck called me. We've done some work in the past, like the track we did for them. That's pretty well known. It's called When the Music Dies. I was a co-writer with Anders, and he knows that I'm going to start with a new album, because I don't think the next album will come out until maybe 2023. So I started already to write, and he's, you know, he want to keep the collaboration going. So he sent me some stuff. This is what I want you to sing. Okay, well, do I have any saying in this at all? What I want to go on my new record. So, you know, so the people are very keen to collaborate with me, and I'm very, very honored and humbled by the fact that I had people like Tony Levin on 3 of my albums now. And he was so enticed by this idea of this music. He said he was going to order the vinyl himself, the brick red. I said, Tony, I can have it sent it over to you. No, I want to order it. You know, he's so humble.
An amazing bass player.
Yes, and he's doing some fantastic work on this album.
And switching gears a little bit to your work with Steve, as we mentioned before the interview, you were the last show I saw before the whole pandemic in Northampton, Mass. I believe you guys played maybe 1 or 2 after that before everything shut down. And it looks like now that you'll be finishing up the few dates on the Selling England by the Pound tour around the same time as the next tour for Seconds Out. Any ideas when those will begin? Is it all still kind of up in the air depending on what goes on with vaccines and things like that?
I believe that the rescheduled dates are official. Not all the dates, but definitely we're coming in about a year from now to some shows in Florida, because we're going to do the Cruise to the Edge. And so I haven't seen the schedule. I've just heard talk about doing more extensive shows in the United States at that time. So that's probably it.
And speaking of the Seconds Out tour that's coming, as you prepare for that, and on that record, Phil Collins sang lead on the original, do you have to adjust at all how you've approached songs from when you did the original versions that Peter Gabriel sang versus Phil's versions on that record?
You know, I always tend to sing the songs the way I've heard them. I mean, I just become like, I just channel what I've heard. I don't try to change too much. I do put my stamp on the vocals, because
definitely,
you know, I'm not Phil or Peter, but I do get to hear, oh, he sounds just like Phil, oh, he sounds just like Peter. But I know what they're saying is just some of the inflections maybe are a bit similar. But it's the reason why Steve wants me in his band, because he thinks there's some authenticity there. It's like my voice belongs to this material. And I'm very humbled that he feels that way and still wants to keep me after, 8 years now? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to Second Sound, I will not copy Phil's. I will, because Phil would go jazz all over the place sometimes. He would alter every night. He would paraphrase, and I don't see why I should have to copy him. It's the music that will be the same, but it will definitely be a Nad Sylvan take on the songs. Mm-hmm. I think I'm qualified.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And you tour pretty constantly with Steve, but once the world opens up again, and assuming at some point we all get back to normal, do you ever see yourself going out and doing a solo run, whether it's for this record or with a bigger band?
That is the $1 million question, my dear. I get it constantly, and rightfully so. I've said this, and I'm a very loyal person. Mm-hmm. The whole entourage around Steve is based on loyalty. Mm-hmm. There are no contracts. It's just loyalty. And I said to Steve, I'll stay with you as long as you want me, and I'll never go back in a word. Now, if let's, for instance, say that Spiritus Mundi really takes off. I mean, we started to talk about big numbers of record sales and what have you, and there will be some heavy demands on me going solo. I would have to have a talk with Steve about that, but because he would understand. I mean, he's in the same situation. He's a solo artist. He's out there. He needs good people. So do I, in that case. But up until now, I've more been thinking towards, once Steve decides to slow down a bit, that will free more space for me going out. Because I can't kill myself with tours. I have a life as well, a domestic life, which I've actually enjoyed very much over the last year, because I've been at home for a year, and I've seen my garden come alive for one. I'm usually awake when that. My beautiful apple tree come in full bloom, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this. When
Steve does his solo work, you've done some guest spots in a song here or there, and he plays some 12-string guitar on Spiritus Mundi.
Yes.
Do you ever see a time where the two of you will do a full record original project together?
I would definitely jump at the chance. I just haven't been asked to do that. Mm-hmm. It would be a fantastic thing if we would make an album together. Then we can go out and do that and also do Genesis stuff. Right. Because people will always want to come and get their Genesis fix, just like myself, really. But he has not suggested it, and I think I don't know. I get a feeling that he wants me to do the Genesis stuff, and he should do the solo stuff. But if he would decide or ask me to do an album with him, of course I would. I'd be stupid to say no.
Well, I think there's something about the tone and timbre of your voice and his guitar that, for me, really works. So, speaking as a fan, that's something I would definitely love to see, is a full studio record of that. Yeah.
Thank you. I tend to agree with you. I mean, I love working with Steve. He's such a mellow and sweet man. He's never a problem with anything. But he insists on singing his own songs on stage, and rightfully so. It's his songs.
Well, we've been spending some time here with Nad Sylvan, right? Sylvan. Yeah.
You're pulling my leg.
Now it's in my head. With Nad Sylvan. His new record, Spiritus Mundi, will be out on April 9th. There's all kinds of physical copies everywhere. It'll be available on streaming. And Nad, just thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's really been a pleasure getting to talk with you and getting to know you a bit. And hopefully we'll be able to catch you here in the States once the world opens up again.
It would be nice for a change to get out there again. It's been very lonely, but I can't complain. It's been nice to take a break from all the touring, I must say. An unexpected break.
Yes. Well, again, thank you so much. Best of luck with the record, and we will talk soon.
Brilliant. Thank you very much yourself.
Thank you.